The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio. From hot dogs to cool kitties, this is Darkside of the Pooch.
Welcome back to a late July and Darkside of the Pooch, along with myself, Tony Kurre. It's Dr. Rab Stewart, 2080301. Darkside of Pooch, because it is a show about veterinarian care, of course, care of our pooches and our kitty cats, brought to you by Sasquatch Toys and Comics right there in Hoover. Seth has got over 300,000 comics, all kinds of toys, Legos, you name it, they got it. Star Wars, I mean, stuff from the 60s and 70s, playing cards, you name it. Just go in there and check the place out. It's amazing. It'll take you back 20 or 30 years. You can find every toy you're looking for at Sasquatch Toys and Comics. Really, really cool place. You've been in there yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's like it's really hard to get in and out of there in about a half an hour. I'll just ask some questions, and it's funny because every time I go in there, he's like added another part of. They got the pogos now, and it's just one thing after another. The comics is kind of like the backbone of the joint, but I mean they've just got autograph memorabilia. It's kind of crazy. It's super fun. So I think everyone's going to have a good time. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. It is it's the end of summer, and
I cannot believe we're saying it's end of summer. I just cannot believe that the end of this week is August. It's just Christmas time is right around the corner. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's insane.
It goes by in a flash. I've been this week. I'm going to introduce a new term to some of our listeners.
Okay.
I've been set list watching all week because the best band in the land, Fish, is playing a 5-night run in Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
They love MSG.
Mm-hmm.
This is their 90. By the time they're done with this run, it will be their 96th show at MSG.
Wow.
So they're playing their 92nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
They're going to have their 100th sometime next year. Wow.
It'll be New Year's. New Year's will be a 4-night run. But my point is, and you've heard me tell this before, in 2017, they played 13 shows at the Garden.
Mm-hmm.
They did not repeat a single song. They had a theme for every night that was associated with a donut, and they would choose songs based on that donut for the night.
Mm-hmm.
And I was glued to my computer every night. What are they going to play? So the night that I went, it was Jimmy themed. And Jimmy's are sprinkles in the Northeast. They're sprinkles. But so they played some Hendrix. They have a few originals that they have this character named Jimmy. And so they played the songs that talk about Jimmy. And so, I mean, for those 13 shows, I was glued to my computer. What are they playing tonight? Well, so now what they are doing is they are playing only songs that they played in 1992. And then, so for that night, it's their 92nd show. We're only going to play songs that we played in 92.
Yeah.
93, they're only going to play songs they played in 93. And they are doing bust outs that they haven't played in 30 years. So,
wow. So when you say they will not repeat the same song, they'll still play the hits. You're saying they don't repeat. They won't play one of their bust out songs twice. One of their they won't play
none of them. They won't play any of them. And when they did the 13-night run at MSG in 2017, they did not play a single song twice.
Really? So even their stuff that people love, they won't play twice.
It was like 156 songs.
Yeah, I was going to say it. So it has to be because you average 12 songs an hour, depending on how long some of their jams are. That's crazy, and I don't think people realize how difficult that is because they must rehearse these songs.
Mm-hmm. There's a video of Metallica. After they did this, after Fish did this run, there's a video of Metallica practicing, and somehow it got leaked, and I don't know all the members of Metallica by heart, but the lead guitarist, he's telling Hetfield, right? James Hetfield? Is that his name?
Hetfield, yeah.
He's saying, hey, did you see what Fish did? And Hetfield's like, no, what they do? And he tells him what I just told you.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my gosh, that sounds miserable. but so anyway, the point of my story is so I'm looking at these set lists every night. And so the last show, which was Saturday night, they're going to play again tonight. but they played back in the USSR, which they hadn't played in
Wow.
13 years. And they first played that when they covered the White Album for Halloween, like 30 years ago or something. So like they're playing these songs they've never played before because they were in the year 1994. So
Yeah.
we're gonna play this. So
You
anyway,
know,
that's what I've been
it's
doing.
so crazy because, you know, we live here in Alabama, so every time a band comes through, we hear Sweet Home Alabama almost every single time. We've come to enjoy it and love it, and it's part of playing here. That's what people do. Um, and I can't remember. You know, I guess the first band that I heard replay songs was Jimmy Buffett. Maybe you need to be a Brown Eyed Girl, and I'm not talking about like Van Halen did Dive Her Down, where they did Pretty Woman and Dance the Night Away, where they had actual songs where they actually remade those songs. And Pendleton, first name scratches mine, is Gary Templeton. Sorry, Gary Templeton, who produced their records, said we're going to do a top 40 song that's already been released, because if you do that, you're already halfway to a hit. You're already halfway there. And so, you know, they're like, okay, so that's why they did You Really Got Me. That's why they did, you know, Dance the Night Away. And so when I heard Jimmy Buffett like doing Warren Zevon, Lawyers, Guns, and Money, he would always do a song that wasn't released on an album. That was that's something he just wanted to play, and it was like wow. And so I got used to going to Buffett songs, but I can't think of another artist outside him that went off the page now. And this should tell you how often I see concerts, but I know the Foo Fighters do it all the time. They play all kind. They'll go for an hour not playing any of their songs. They'll play other people's music, and people love it. It's fantastic, and it's like this is not competition here. It's like, what does it hurt playing a Beatles song? I mean, your crowd loves it. They eat it up, particularly when it's something that is just something off the wall like that. One of my favorite moments was hearing the Immigrant Song when I went with you at the Coca-Cola Amphitheater at Oak Mountain. So I mean, it was awesome. It's great. That's super cool. And of
Did you
course,
know?
all it makes you want to do is you want to go see more shows
Mhm.
because you know you
And
get a
that's
new show every
why.
night.
So Fish has got to figure it out. Like they really do. It's almost it's a little bit counterintuitive because if you say, "Hey, we're gonna," and when they did the Baker's Dozen, which was the 13 without a repeat, they didn't say they weren't going to repeat,
Mhm.
but they just said you're going to see something special. You're going to see things that you haven't seen in a long time and you'll never see again. And so about like halfway through the run, there had been no repeats, and that's when everyone started saying
Mm.
they may play all 13 and not repeat. So what ended up happening is you sold out the Garden 13 nights because the fans knew that if they were going to play 13 shows without a repeat, they were going to have to dig deep, songs that they hadn't played in forever, songs they
Yeah.
had never played before, and you were
Mhm.
going to see things just like they said that you haven't seen in a long time and that you'll never see again.
Now, is a Fish concert? Are there miracles? Are there situations where if you really love a band, someone can get you in? Is it like a Grateful Dead stand, or is it still? Are we talking $400 or $500 tickets like every other show is?
If you want to stand around outside, there's a chance. Sure.
Yeah. It just seems like for shows like that, in case anyone has ever known the Grateful Dead, you say you're looking for a miracle, and a miracle is a free ticket. And if you really were a Grateful Dead fan, and obviously you look like a Grateful Dead fan, you probably do, or you probably did. um, you were going to get into a show. Someone was going to have an extra ticket. There'd be people that showed up with extra tickets, just take care of people that traveled, from city to city, broke, no money, just to go in and enjoy a show. And you want true fans to go to real concerts. Can you imagine going to a concert where you know that every fan of the 20,000 inside a particular venue is a die-hard fan? That means no one's. My son and I are going to be hitting this AC/DC concert. I think it's on the 27th of August. And the pit tickets are $230. And the pit's right there in front. And I was like, I think we should go for it. And he's like, oh, don't you want to have some seats? And I said, honey, it's AC/DC. You're not going to be sitting down. You won't sit down. I said, and I've seen you stand for 4 hours at a college football game. I said, you're going to be fine. He goes, well, it's going to be hot. And I said, no. I said, the roof will be on us. It'll be fine. I said, but you're not going to be sitting down There's no reason to. They don't play right on. They don't play anything slow. There's nothing to be sitting down for. And I said, if you're the pit, you sit down, you're going to get stepped on. So I said, if you want to do it right, the funny thing is that the tickets are a lot cheaper. If you want to sit on the 11th or 12th row, it's like $400. And I'm like, just to have a seat, hell, I'll sit down if I have to sit down.
Those people that are of age, they want a seat, so they're going to pay more for it.
I guess. It doesn't make sense to me. And I've never sat in a pit situation. The last time I was in a pit situation was for a U2 concert. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a little claustrophobic, but they don't overfill it. And they make sure that if you don't have a pit pass, you don't get in there. But it was fun. So we'll see what happens. All right. What's going on in the pet world there? You're at Rossbridge Animal Hospital. You always have some good stories for me. Noticed my dog doing something late last night. He was chewing on his paw. And I hear a crunching noise. And I was like, okay. And it sounded like he was biting on a toenail. How often do dogs bite their toenails? Will they bite them off if they get too long? I just had him shaved and cleaned about 6 weeks ago. And so I went and looked at his nail, and he had a black nail that was getting a little long. Will they cut those off? Will they bite those off if they get too long?
I mean, sometimes they will, but I don't think that they know what they're doing. I don't think they're trying to bite their nails, He was either doing some grooming, maybe there was something in his paw, or maybe his paw was itchy, but I don't think his goal was to trim his own nails.
Okay.
I don't think there may not be anything, any pathology there, but I don't, because we see dogs that have sometimes come in and they, they're not groomed like they should be.
Yeah.
And their toenails are really long and maybe even growing into their pads. Yeah. And I know that's not your situation, but my point in telling you this is that those dogs aren't chewing their own nails, Yeah. So I don't think they do that. I think there's some other reason.
Do you have anything going on you always have something interesting at your store that you always love to talk about, something different that you haven't had in a long time? What's going on at your store that has happened over the last week or two?
Well, we had an interesting case of an older dog that came in and had some significant radiological changes in one of its lung lobes. Mm-hmm. And there's this really interesting thing that can happen with dogs and cats. They have, on the right side, they have 3 lung lobes. They have a front, a middle, and a back lung lobe. And the middle lung lobe, for whatever reason, is really prone to twisting.
Okay.
So it twists on itself. And when it twists, the blood flow is compromised, the airflow is compromised.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, and sometimes trauma can do it, if they're like hit by a car, or hit by something, or they fall off something high. Mm-hmm. It can be a very, dangerous and an emergent situation because they, basically lose 1/5 of their lung volume in a pretty short period of time. And most of the time it's an emergency and it's surgical. And you have to, you have to remove that lung lobe. Mm-hmm. It's not viable anymore. They actually do better without it. That is something that we did not see, but the case that presented, the x-ray looked a lot like that. It ended up being something else. But that was fresh on my mind that, right middle lung lobe torsions are pretty unique to animals. And if it happens, it's pretty obvious. They have trouble breathing. They're very weak. They do a lot of panting. They do a lot of coughing. And it's something that's, an emergency situation.
That is very interesting. And thank you for bringing that to our attention. And when you do that, it makes me come up with like 16 more questions, which just popped into my head. And I was writing down feverishly as you were speaking. So I was listening to you. Are there things that dogs and animals have 2 of, they don't need both of? Much like human beings, do they have a spleen, or is there anything else that a dog or a cat doesn't need that they can do without? And can they transplant? Can you transplant dogs or cats' organs?
A spleen you definitely can take out. We're actually taking one out later this week.
Okay.
For a dog.
Again, what does the spleen do?
It's a lymph organ. There's a lot, like it's you could almost think of it like one big lymph node in some ways. Mm-hmm. It also stores red blood cells. It's a big store of red blood cells, but it's a lymph organ. And in that same vein, you can remove lymph nodes in dogs. I mean, just like us, I mean, you can amputate limbs and digits, and you can enucleate eyes.
And you go with one lung?
Well, you can remove parts of the lung. You can remove
Yeah.
parts of the liver. You can remove one kidney. Can't remove both of them.
Yeah.
Don't really do any transplants in dogs. It's just not something that, for whatever reason, works.
That's interesting.
But yeah, those are all things that you can take away.
It's been an extremely hot summer. I won't say it's been one of the hottest summers. It's been one of the shortest summers. I don't know. I thought it was because I was just getting old, but everyone I talked to is like, there's some time continuum going on where it's just flying by. It's like summer's
Lots of
going to be
rain
over.
too.
Yeah, a lot of rain. And we had that about 3 or 4 years ago, and it was actually pretty good because it rained so often. It just never felt like it got very hot. We've certainly had a run here, but if you have been outside at all, you have seen squirrels splooting. You know what splooting is? We've actually talked about this on this show before. Do you know what it is when a squirrel sploots?
Uh, that's when they secrete their stuff when it's time to secrete it.
No,
Is that not a dad answer? Like, it's like kind of answering the
yeah.
question, but like not at all.
No, and I hadn't splooted in so long I couldn't even tell you. They also call it heat dumping or pancaking. Does that help you at all?
Yeah, like you lay down on the ground to cool off.
That's right. A heat dump, whenever, dogs are always funny when they do it, but when a dog lays on its belly with its hind legs out back, okay, and their front paws out, they look like they're super dog. That's called splooting. There's actually a word for it. And I had count them, three squirrels splooting on my back deck. It was like weird. I thought I was running some type of Club Med or something. It was bizarre because I had three squirrels out there with their back legs all spread out, and they were just like little guys that were just panting out their brains as much as a squirrel can pant. It looked like they were panting. I don't think they pant. But it's
Splooting.
called splooting. So I wanted you to tell me what are some ways that we know if our dogs and or kitty cats are getting too hot, if they're getting exhausted. And that makes sense because, I mean, it would feel good to be able to put that skin area where there's no fur, I'm assuming on a squirrel, to get that down on a nice cool ground. It would feel good to sploot. Now, I don't know why they'd be doing it on my deck because it gets full sun. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But can you tell me how I know when my dog is overheating or it's getting a little warm?
Well, I mean, this is gonna seem like an oversimplification, obvious, and also maybe somewhat misleading. But they pant, but that's not the only reason dogs pant. Dogs pant if they're anxious or if they're excited. So dogs don't always pant when they're hot, but it's pretty obvious when they're panting when they're hot because it's hot and they're
Yeah.
panting. So, it's because they're hot. If they get really hot, they can get wobbly and fall down. And that's when you're kind of, in the hyperthermia zone, which can be very dangerous. They'll also vomit, so they'll collapse. But when they're, collapsing and vomiting, then you worry that you're going to have some, veterinary intervention.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you throw up, man, you got some issues. I
Yeah.
always tell my kids, it's good when you're throwing up in that your body's trying to get rid of something. If you're getting a fever, your body's fighting something. So it's not necessarily a good sign, but at least your body's working for you. But certainly when you just get sick, just to get sick, then you probably got some bigger issues.
And the thing with me, like, I don't, man, it's been a long time since I've thrown up. Praise the Lord.
Mhm.
And I couldn't tell you the last time that I did. But the thing with vomiting is that, all right, if I throw up once, you kind of think, all right, am I good? Like, is this about to turn into something? Or am I going to get away with just like a one off? Like, maybe it was something I ate, or, maybe it's just like a really short lived virus or something. But there's always that fear that after you throw up one time, an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is, you're going to be right back there on your knees.
Do you remember being a child feeling bad after you threw up? Like not physically bad, but you ashamed of yourself?
Um,
There was something in
no,
Jurassic Park about that. Remember when I think it was Jimmy that got sick and he's like, "Hey, Jimmy, are you going to throw up?" He said, "Yeah." And he goes, "It's okay to throw up." I remember, not specifically, but I remember thinking to myself, if I get sick, I guess because I was going to make a mess, and my mom was going to have to clean it up, and I was going to feel bad because there's nowhere really to point it. When you're young, you don't know when you're going to throw up for the first time. It just happens. As you get older, you realize I better be near a toilet, particularly if you're a drinker or something. But I do remember thinking to myself, maybe it's because I'd seen someone else get sick and get yelled at or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's like it's okay. It's it
Yeah,
happens.
I think
Yeah.
that it's because I think it's just a very unsettling thing to have to go through,
Mhm.
like it's uncomfortable, it's painful, it's kind of scary,
It is kind of
and
scary.
my son, kids are like, you just never know when to trust them really. And so this past year, my son woke up one morning and he's like a lot of kids. He doesn't just love school. He's a great student, but he fights it. He's not one that loves to, hey, I can't wait to sit down and, learn about the Cold War tonight, or, I can't wait
Yeah.
to sit down and do this math homework. But he'll do it. But he doesn't just love school. And there's times where he's like, yeah, I just don't want to go to school, yada, yada, yada. And so there was one day this past fall where he woke up and just all morning he's like, I just don't feel good. I don't feel good. And I was like, buddy, you're going to school. Like I've heard, I get this from you all the time. Like
Mhm.
he's always saying, oh my stomach hurts, whatever.
Yeah.
So where this story's going.
Mhm.
So I made him go to school,
Mhm.
and then I get the call,
Mhm.
hey, your son, he threw up, and you need to come get him.
And then you feel like a putz.
And you feel like
Feel
you feel
horrible.
horrible. And so
Yeah.
we pick him up, and he looks at me and he's like, I told you that I didn't feel good. And he said, you want me to tell you what happened? Dad, you want me to tell you what happened? And I was like, I mean, I guess just go ahead. I mean, I earned it, so I'll wear it. What happened? Well, I was in English class, and I was sitting next to the person at my table, and I knew that I was about to puke, but it happened so fast that there was nothing I could do about it. So I just had to turn around as quick as I could. I threw up all over my backpack. I threw up all over the chair. I threw up in between the desk and the person behind me. I'm pretty sure I splattered it all over their shoes. And all this could have been avoided if you just would have trusted me.
And you said, honey, it's not that I don't trust you.
Yeah. I said,
Dot, 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 dot.
yeah, I said, if you just weren't the boy that cried wolf all the time, and tell me that
Yeah.
you don't, that your son
Well, there
cries.
you go. There you have it. Don't cry wolf, you kids out there. Don't get your dad's lighter and take it to the thermometer or stick it up against the light bulb or whatever you crazy kids do. Your Matthew Broderick tricks. It just doesn't work because we've been there, done that. The thing is, I didn't miss a day of school my entire 12-year career. First grade
Wow.
to 12th grade, I didn't miss a day of school. I just didn't. But we went to school. We were sick. I mean, this crap now. Where if you get a slight fever, I don't know. I honestly don't think Lakota Elementary or Hopewell Elementary had a thermometer because I know that I went some times where I had fevers. But now, if they check you with a fever, all of a sudden you're a bad parent. Like, what were you doing sending your child in with a? Because like Xavier wants to go to school even when he's got a fever. And of course, I appreciate that. Him, he loves going to school because he's going to see his friends there. He'd rather do that than sit home all day and be on his computer. But
There's
yeah,
just there's a difference. Like there's just, and it's something I think is you have to develop, as you get older. But it's kind of like I wear it as a badge of honor, like coming to work and okay, I don't feel good, but that's what I do. I'm going to
yeah,
work. Like that's what you do. Like, you don't feel great, but can you make it? Can you make it through school? You don't feel great, you got to go.
yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah. I did it at work too. His first 20 years of work, never missed a day. And then we had too many Miss Hawaiian Tropic Beauty pageant nights and too many Jack Daniels nights, and they caught up with me. And finally, I was like, you know what? I haven't taken a day off in 25 years. I think I'm going to call in tomorrow. And I remember the day I did it. My boss was like, "You're really not coming in?" I was like, "No." I said, "I'm just," and I really was sick. I mean, I had like pneumonia or something. I just was pushing too hard. I was like, "This is ridiculous." You can find because when I take a day off, well, like a lot of people, but people know it because I'm not on the air. So someone's got to fill in, and then it goes up the line. So then they got to find somebody, and we don't have extra people to work on air. So when you called in sick, no one was going to work a double shift, you know. So,
did I tell you? Did I tell you about that time I broke my arm 5 or
oh,
6 years ago?
oh,
Yeah, so I broke my arm, and I wasn't sure if I broke it or not. Like, it hurt, but I'd never really had anything like that happen before. And so I slept on it. I said, all right, I'm just like, ooh, this feels bad, but I'm gonna go to bed. And
When you say you slept on it, you literally slept on it, or you slept. You think you're going to think about it for the night until tomorrow morning. You slept on it.
yeah, I was gonna think about it. I was gonna see how it
Yeah,
feels in the morning.
yeah.
See how it feels. And I woke up. I didn't sleep well. First of all, I mean, you sleep for an hour, wake up, sleep for an hour, wake up. And so I got up and I had to get in the shower, and I couldn't really straighten it, and it was really painful. And it was 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was in the shower, and I was just like, I'm just gonna straighten my arm. I'm gonna give it all I got. I'm gonna straighten my arm. And so, I mean, I gave it all I could give it, and I could feel that it was broken. I could feel the bone on bone, and that's when I got upset, because I was like, I've broken my arm, and I can't let my people down. I have appointments. I have employees, and I got to figure this out. So I went to the ER just to confirm that it was broken, which it was, and then I went to work.
Wow.
And I worked for a week in a sling until I could have surgery done. I had surgery done, and as luck would have it, I was scheduled to actually go on vacation. So I had the surgery the day before I went on vacation, then I went on vacation. So I technically did not miss an unscheduled day of work for like my broken arm.
Yeah.
And so I tell people that all the time. Like, when people are like, oh, I don't feel good. I can't come to work or whatever. And I'm like, I broke my arm and didn't miss a day of work.
Wow. I was I did a gig on a Thursday, broke my neck and part of my back on Thursday night, was back at work on Tuesday.
Oh,
I was as close as I could get. And I was like, I'm not going to sit here at home. I just wheel me in. And I drove myself in, which was really kind of stupid, because I couldn't look over I wasn't supposed to drive for like 3 months. And I was like, I'm going to drive. So I was up on a ladder that week putting up Christmas lights. And it wasn't like, listen,
you Griswold it.
well, yeah, you do, but I mean, for sake of not, because when you stay busy and stuff, to not stay busy, man, sometimes can put you in a really lonely place. I've been there, and I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta stay busy. I can't. I know some people are like, you're crazy, sit around all week, and because in the hospitals, man, you're in for 3 or 4 days, they're kicking you out, so you're going home. And I had 2 kids, so what was I gonna do?
Yeah.
So, but it worked out.
I heard somebody say the other day, this was and I'm sure that this isn't an exact quote, but it had to do with Clint Eastwood. And someone was asking him, how do you keep doing this? Like, how are you still acting? How are you still directing? Like, how do you stay so young?
Hmm.
And I have thought about it. I heard this a couple weeks ago, and I can't tell you how many times I have thought about this quote in a couple of weeks. It's, you don't let the old man in.
Yeah.
You just don't let him in. You keep doing the things that you do when you were young. Just don't let the old man in.
Wow, that's good. I'm gonna write that down. Don't let the old man in. I wonder how that works. Does that really work? I mean, there's always the problem is your old man is your body for me, and when my body speaks, there's nothing. I'm to the point now where I can't believe I'm saying this, but if I sit for more like an hour, I mean, I'm getting up and I look like I'm 80 years old. I mean, it's like, and it's embarrassing. I had a
But it's
meeting
also a
this
mental thing. It's also a mental thing. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
engage with
that's the
I'm gonna
part I think
engage with
that
other
yeah,
people.
yeah.
I'm gonna continue to look for new ideas and be open to new things, and
Hmm.
not just be like that person that's like, ugh, you know,
Yeah.
that we don't do it that we've never done it that way, and like, just kind of, I think it's an all encompassing kind of thought process.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right. Great stuff as always, my man. 2080301, rossbridgevet.com.org.net. You can also check yourself out on Facebook. As you're getting ready to go back to school, make sure your puppies and your kitty cats are taken care of. Want to make sure they have a healthy school year as well. I appreciate everything you do for us. Thanks for the stories, and I will catch up with you. I'm going to be off next week, so I will catch up with you the week after.
All right, man.
The first week of school, so we'll get after it then, my friend.
I hope you have a great time.
Thank you, brother.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.